Hi everybody, it's Laura. So today we're going to be talking about the alternating long tail cast on. I love this cast on because it has a lot of give, it has a more interesting edge, and it's just as easy to work. And no, I'm not ready quite to show you that hat yet. So one of the things I'm happy about now that I'm working at Jimmy Bean's Wool in Reno, one of the largest knitting stores in the country, is I get to have face-to-face time with knitters. And that means I get to see where they're having problems with the technique that I may have blogged about. So as you see me working the alternating long tail cast on, something I started doing about 10 years ago, but others have done too, so I'm certainly not calling it one of my inventions, is that once you get going, it's really just as easy as the long tail cast on. It has a lot of give, and it has that interesting edge. So let's start back at the beginning, and I'll show you how it works. Let's start with how to hold the yarn. The tail is in my left hand, so it will go over my thumb. I'm going to pinch my 2 fingers between the loop, grab the other 2 strands with my 3 fingers, and hold the yarn on the top of my finger. Now, in order to start the long tail cast on without a slip stitch, it's very straightforward. You just put your needle through the middle of the triangle and then work the cast on. So let's just talk about the long tail cast on first. It is a mimic of a knit stitch. You create a loop, there's the loop, and you drag the yarn through. You are going from the outside, from left to right and through. Left to right, over that yarn strand and through. And you know this is a knit stitch because as we look to the back, there are all the purls. Now let's mirror that stitch. Instead of going left to right this time, we're going to go right around the outside. See that loop we're making? Under the yarn and through. Here's the regular. Now let's look at this again. Now where I found people were having problems was that that second yarn was way down here. So you definitely want to hold the yarn up in your fingers and go around the outside. There's the loop. Under, so it's going between. See how it's going between the 2 and over. There's the standard. A lot of people want, and I did also, to go around the top and around the top. It may be a little bit easier. It results in a stitch that's sitting the wrong way. If you do work it that way, you're just going to have to knit through the loop on the next row. So how do I know where I am? I put my yarn down. How do I know where I am? Well, the yarn in a standard knit long tail cast on kind of comes out the front like this. So that means I need to do the opposite. Around the back, down and through. And now I want you to notice that for this one, the working yarn tail is going straight down. Let's turn this over and take a quick look. That was my purl stitch. So on this row, it's a knit stitch. There's the purl. Okay, let's talk a couple little details about this cast on. First of all, when you're doing a long tail cast on, if you work it just in your regular rhythm, you're going to see that you are moving your wrists in order to make this easier. It's the same with this. My left hand is moving forward. My left wrist is turning back. Okay, so don't, once you practice this and get your rhythm, it becomes easier because your movements become more natural. The other thing I want you to know is you don't have to cast on loosely, right? Which you hear all the time. This is a looser cast on. So you never want to go tight, but you can cast on snugly. Now let's look at the back of this, which I usually use as a right side row. You're going to have your knit stitches and your purl stitches. That makes this a natural cast on to go into a 1x1 rib. Or if you'd like to have non-rolling edges and you don't want to do a rib, this would be great for seed stitch as well.